Getting ready for the start of Heat 1A of the Budweiser Indiana Governor's Cup here in Madison, Indiana. And Steve Evans, the start is kind of tricky in one of these unlimited races.
And it has to be timed perfectly, Brock. The boats go into the water with 5 minutes on the clock. It is now down to 15 seconds. They cannot cross the starting line before the time is down to 0. Now, this is a ragged start. Todd Yarling is clear out on the backstretch somewhere. Andy Coker in the Miss Madison boat, not even close. It looks like Jerry Hopp, the Miss Oh Boy Alberto, is going to have the advantage on the start. On the inside, on the outside comes Miss Budweiser, Jim Kropfeld.
And look at that big Rolls-Royce Trippin and Kropfeld's boats just suck in Jerry Hopp as they go down into turn number 1. Jerry Hopp on the inside, but that big, strong boat of Kropfeld is going right around him on the outside.
And this is where they use that nitrous in the turns to launch them out of the turn, actually. And this is some pretty rough water, especially down in turn number 2.
Well, we've got a two-boat race here right now. As you said, Coker and Yarling way back. Yarling's watch must have stopped or something on that start because he was on the back straight. And as we said earlier, those guys have watches on board to back time toward the start. There goes Jerry Hopp trying to hold off Kropfeld, but it isn't going to work. That's the back straight going down the Ohio River toward turn number 3.
Well, Jim Kropfeld in the Miss Budweiser boat certainly has an advantage here. But you wonder, Jerry Hopp has the shortest way around this course with that inside line. If that boat will corner properly, he may make it up coming into this next buoy.
Well, it's interesting, the contrast in these two boats. Of course, Kropfeld with an almost 4,000 horsepower Griffin engine in his, and Jerry Hopp with an older turbocharged Allison, developing maybe 2,300 horsepower, so he's way down on power. But as you can see, he tucked inside, stayed right in close to those buoys, and managed to get out in front of Kropfeld coming off that turn number 4. But here comes Kropfeld with all that horsepower. These boats are heavy, too, Steve. These are both about 7,000-pound boats, quite a bit heavier than the modern boats. But Kropfeld's boat having to carry all that weight because of that big Griffin engine that he's got on board.
Well, Kropfeld obviously has a lot of confidence in his boat and in his power plant because he's taking a very wide line, literally letting Jerry Hopp make up some of that advantage.
Well, don't forget, the secret in one of these races is to finish. And if you hurt the boat with too much nitrous or abuse it too hard, then you're not going to go on and advance into the into the feature. So Kropfeld, I'm sure, reckons that he can hold off Hopp, and maybe he's just kind of easing it around a little bit just to save that motor. But Hopp, boy, he's not giving up at all. He's got that old turbocharged Allison working real hard, and in fact nosed a little bit in front of Kropfeld going down the back straight. But here comes Jim, and it looks as if he's going to start to carve out a bigger lead.
You know, as these hydroplanes reach their top speed down the straightaway, Brock, there's very little of the boat in the water. Really just the skid fin and the propeller.
And they call them unlimited hydroplanes, and that's exactly what they are. They're really a rudimentary rules. They have to be at least 28 feet long and have to have a propeller to drive them through the water. Other than that, anything goes, really.
Well, the scenario remains the same here. Jerry Hopp catches up in the turns and then loses it on the straightaway. There goes Miss Budweiser, Jim Kropfeld, just far more power.
Very clear that he's got a big advantage, and I'll tell you what, that is one of the sweetest sounding internal combustion engines you'll ever hear. Big, root supercharged aircraft engine dating from very late in World War II, probably the most advanced gasoline-powered aircraft engine ever built.
Now, I don't know if Kropfeld is taking it easy on the Miss Bud boat or what, but look at Jerry Hopp. Suddenly down the straightaway, he takes the lead.
Well, there's Andy Coker still riding in 3rd place. That, of course, is what they call an old conventional boat, front engine, versus the rear engine boats, more modern boats. But Andy Coker giving it a good ride. He had a bad start, as did Todd Yarling, and is well back right now.
Well, a heck of a fight for the lead. Miss Budweiser, Jim Kropfeld on the outside. You see it right here, the U1 boat. And on the inside, right alongside him, Jerry Hopp, Miss Oh Boy Alberto. Putting up a stronger fight than anybody thought.
Well, Jim Kropfeld, of course, the reigning national champion in unlimited hydroplanes, came into the sport like a demon, won 10 of his first 22 races, Steve, the best starting record of any rookie ever in the history of this sport. Brilliant driver, Cincinnati, Ohio, spent a long time in the lower classes of hydroplane racing, and then finally got his big break with this Miss Budweiser team a couple of years ago.
Well, they have scored 7 national titles in thunderboat racing. Jerry Hopp still hoping for his first. He is a licensed pilot, as I commented earlier, so many of them are.
And works on the crew of this Oh Boy Alberto all on a full-time time basis. And there it goes. There you can see the speed of that Miss Budweiser, probably pushing 180 miles an hour here down these long straightaways on the Madison course.
Of course, these are all the internal combustion engines in this Heat 1A. We're yet to see the muscle of the turbine boats, either the Miss 711 or the Miller American. And those certainly are the boats the crowd has come to see here this weekend.
So the race continues for first with Jerry Hawk not about to give up and gaining all that advantage on that inside. You can see him right up against those buoys as Kropfeld has to take the long way around. And these boats, by the way, are very, very treacherous in another boat's wake, Steve. So you can't really cross a wake or else you're going to dump one upside down. So as you can see, Kropfeld probably would like to be on that inside line. That's the short way around, obviously, but he can't do it. So he has to stay outside and just rely on Miss Budweiser's awesome power to stay in front.
You're right, Brock. You're pretty well obligated to maintain a certain line once you take it. In fact, there are unlimited officials hovering in a helicopter over the course to make sure there are no driving fouls. It's not like sprint car racing. You just can't play bump and run and cutting guys off in the turns. It's just too dangerous.
No Nerf bars on these babies. They are very sensitive boats. And, of course, a little indiscretion can put one upside down. As we watch Todd Yarling, he's still back there in fourth place due to that bad start he had. Miscalculation, to be sure. But that boat is a strong boat, and I'm sure his object right now is simply to finish so he can go on to one of the more advanced heats.
Well, Seattle resident Jerry Hopp, the U4 Miss Ovoy Alberto, in second place right now. The boat sponsored by the Sausage Company, and he'll be content to stay there, Brock, as you said, to finish, get those points.
All right, that's the big flag from the official stand. That says one more lap. And the drivers have to rely on, just like on a regular automobile race, for that flag signal. That tells them that there's only 2.5 miles left in this particular heat. And there goes Jim Kropfeld, now starting to pull out a substantial lead. He kind of left Jerry on that last lap, and Pierce headed for a victory, but anything can happen. These boats are hardly the most reliable machines on Earth. Very complicated, and who's going to know, anything can break near the end.
And you got to have a lot of admiration for Andy Coker and the Miss Madison boat. What a pounding he takes. Not to mention that with the engine location, as you see it here, he's the first to know if anything goes wrong. He gets the oil, the fire, and oh man, he's got to be sore, Brock, when he gets out of that boat.
That's like riding a cement mixer out there. I just can't imagine a seat that would be less comfortable than that particular one that Andy Coker's got. You can see those big turbocharger stacks, the exhaust stacks coming out there, and they're just about aimed right in his face. But Andy Coker hangs in there. He's got himself a third spot here in this heat if he can come around to finish. So Andy Coker heads down the back straightaway here on the Madison course. As you can see, the Ohio River is starting to get a little bit choppy.
But that doesn't affect Jim Kropfeld. He takes the win in Heat 1A. The crew showing their appreciation to the Miss Budweiser boat and its fine driver. But suddenly, Brock, we've got a pretty good duel going for third place in Heat 1A. The Miss Madison boat on the outside, and here you see coming through on the inside, recovering from that bad start, Todd Yarling in the Cellular 1.
Yeah, he's been steadily making up distance on Andy Coker, and it's going to be interesting to see whether Todd Yarling can run him down. It doesn't look like that's going to happen because I think Andy Coker's got enough straightaway speed to carry on to finish third overall. So Todd Yarling can't make up the distance after his bad start, and Andy Coker comes home to the delight, as you said, of the Madison fans. It's a hometown boat, and across the finish line he comes, riding it out. And right behind him, Todd Yarling, almost making up the distance, but still finishing in the scratch spot back and forth. The winner, Jim Kropfeld, taking second, Jerry Hopp in the Ovoy Alberto, Coker and Yarling rounding out the four-boat field. We'll be back with more from the Budweiser Indiana Governor's Cup from Madison, Indiana, following this.